What if I told you that failure isn't the end? It's the beginning. Every success story you have ever heard started with failure. So, if you've ever failed, congrats, you are in great company. Let's talk about why failure is actually a step forward. Failure teaches lessons success never could. It forces growth, resilience, and innovation. George St-Pierre, one of the greatest fighters in UFC history, wasn't fearless. He was terrified before every fight. But instead of running away from fear, he trained himself to embrace it.
There is no shame to admit that you're afraid, because there is no courage without fear. And when I made peace with that, it changes everything in my life. Because I made peace, and I said it to even in my opponents, like, yeah, I'm scared of you, but no matter what, I'm gonna freaking walk the walk on Saturday night, and there's nothing you can do. I remember when I was young, I thought the fear will go away over time, that I will get used to it, I will no longer be afraid, but that's not true. It's the opposite. It gets worse because every fight is bigger than the last one, and it gets worse. But because I made peace with it, I was like, man, I know this is normal. I need to be afraid, because I know when I'm afraid, it heightens my reaction time, my reset time. It makes me better. So I embrace fear. I know it's a normal thing.
J.K. Rowling, before becoming one of the most successful authors in history, she faced rejection 12 times. Publishers didn't believe in Harry Potter, but she did. Today, her books are a global phenomenon. Every major breakthrough came from people who refused to let failure define them. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb overnight. In fact, he failed over 1,000 times before finally succeeding. His perspective: I have not failed. I have just found 1,000 ways that will work. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first TV job because she was unfit for television. Oprah didn't let failure stop her. Neither should you. Here's her powerful advice on what to do when things don't go as planned.
There is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction. It doesn't matter how far you might rise. At some point, you are bound to stumble, because if you're constantly doing what we do, raising the bar, if you are constantly pushing yourself higher, higher, the law of averages, not to mention the myth of Icarus, predicts that you will at some point fall. And when you do, I want you to know this, remember this: there is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction. Now, when you're down there in the hole, it looks like failure. So this past year, I had to spoon feed those words to myself. And when you're down in the hole, when that moment comes, it's really okay to feel bad for a little while. Give yourself time to mourn what you think you may have lost. But then, here's the key: learn from every mistake, because every experience, encounter, and particularly your mistakes are there to teach you and force you into being more of who you are. And then figure out what is the next right move.
When things don't go as planned, don't dwell on the problem. Find the lesson and move forward, because the only real failure, giving up.
Failure is a wonderful teacher. It's the only way to learn. You have to fail. Failure is a part of the process to becoming successful. I tell people this all the time. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in the world, he took 946 game-winning shots. 946 times since he was in high school, the ball has been in his hand to take the game-winning shot with no time on the clock. He has only made 146 of those. He has missed over 700 times, but he has made 146. You know what they write about? When you make it. They write about when you make it. So guess what? When you get through failing, all you gotta do is make one.
You see, failure isn't your enemy. It's your best teacher. The next time you fail, instead of saying, "Why me?" Ask, what can I learn? Because the people who change the world aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never quit. What about you? How would you turn your next setback into a step forward?